So let's start now free expansion. Okay, let's understand. Suppose okay, best example will be suppose you have any plate here. Suppose you have any plate here, and suppose this side you have air molecules, and you want to take this plate from this location to this location. So while taking the plate, you have to push the plate. Without pushing the plate cannot go automatically here. Now question is, why do you have to push the plate? Because these molecules are on the way. They will behave like traffic, or they will behave like resistance for you. These molecules will behave like resistance for you. I mean, your path is not free. That's why you have to do some push. So when you will push the plate, push is kind of force. So you have to do some work done, because force into displacement is work done. It means when you want to take this plate from here to here, then you have to do some work done. Now understand this logic for the free expansion. Now I am starting free expansion. Imagine you have a closed chamber. In the closed chamber, you have any wall here. Okay. And imagine all the gases are here. And this side you have vacuum. Okay. This is the initial condition. Now you do one thing. Somehow, this you can also say wall, or you can say diaphragm, because diaphragm is technical word, bookish word. No problem. Just remove the wall outside quickly. Srak, wall came out. Then what will happen? These molecules will expand in the remaining volume. So in this expansion, what is happening? Earlier, gases were packed in this much volume, but after expansion, gases will fill in the entire volume. So you can see there is a volume change from V1 to V2. So some students may think W is equal to P V2 minus V1 is there. It means V2 minus V1 is coming. It means work done is there. But guys, because in the second zone, you had no one to resist this incoming flow. It means what? These molecules are not wasting their energy against any kind of restriction. It means these molecules have no need to perform any work, because in the right side zone, you don't have anyone to resist their expansion. Guys, are you getting my logic? So that's why in free expansion, your work done is zero. So what is the main logic? Why work done is zero? Because whenever there is a free expansion, your molecules will rush into the vacuum. Of course, volume is increasing, but the idea is work done is zero. Why work done is zero? Because you don't have anyone to resist these incoming gases. So these gases, they don't have to settle someone by wasting some energy. So because gases are not wasting any energy, so gases are not doing any work. And we are considering this system as isolated system. So this was the idea of free expansion. Whenever there is a free expansion, your volume is increasing, no doubt, but there will not be any work done. And this kind of expansion, if this kind of expansion is happening, then they will be having their diagrams, means pressure P, volume V. So in the beginning, you had more pressure and less volume. You can see less volume, more pressure, but dotted line you will dotted line, and you will reach to less pressure, more volume. But this is free expansion, so no work done. And sometimes in GATE exam they can ask you these kind of cases. You have a isolated chamber, suppose 3 cases I am giving you, another chamber and another chamber. Here also I have diaphragm, here also I have diaphragm, and here I have so many diaphragms. And in this part I am keeping gases. Now in case 1 I am considering, because you understand one thing, in the very beginning I have told you, whenever we are performing any experiment or something is happening, we should consider our boundary, like how much zone we have to consider for our study. So boundary is important. So now I am going to give you boundary. In first case I am considering only this much is my boundary. In second case I am considering this total is my boundary, and of course in third case I am considering total is my boundary. So in first case, when you will remove the diaphragm, gases will shift here. This is also free expansion, no work. In second case also, when you will remove the diaphragm, again there is a vacuum, so no restriction, so again no work. So in both the free expansion cases, no work done. In third case, you have to remove diaphragm one by one. Here also no work, because whenever you are removing the diaphragm, your gases are going to the next vacuum. But in this case, you have the third case, you have this kind of line. I mean, your chamber is of course increasing, but slowly it is increasing, very slowly. And of course they are increasing in vacuum. So this is a gradual process, like slow process, and it is quasi-static process. No doubt net work done is 0 still, but it is slow process. Okay, so now we will understand 2 very important types of work done. Based on that, lot of concepts are there. Mostly we are going to deal with mechanical shaft work and steering work, so I should give those 2 works now. So the previous idea was about free expansion. In free expansion you don't have work done. So now I am going to give you mode of work transfer. Mode of work transfer means there is some place where energy is being generated, and I want to perform some work in some other place. So what will I do? I will connect any shaft from here to here, and this energy will rotate the shaft, and the rotation will reach to the second house. So you can say work is reaching to the second house. So this device what I have connected in between, that I will say as mechanical shaft work, mechanical shaft. So in this case, how will you find out the work done? So to find out work done, situation is very easy. Here things are rotating, so it is a rotational kind of concept. So see guys, in case of linear motion and in case of rotational motion, how to convert variables? You have force into displacement, that will give you work in case of linear displacement. But in rotational displacement, we don't have force, you have torque, and you don't have linear displacement, you have angular displacement theta, so that will give you work. If you want to talk about power in case of linear, so power is nothing but work done by time. I have to talk about power something so that you will be very clear. So I will talk about power within few minutes, but first you understand. In case of linear, in linear case, your power is nothing but W by T, work done by time. So power is nothing but work done by time. So here also power is nothing but work done by time, but this work done is F into D in by T. So D by T is nothing but velocity. Displacement by time is nothing but velocity. So force into velocity will give you power. So always remember, power has two standard formulas. One is W by T and one is force into volume. In same way here your W is tau into theta by T. So always remember, tau is torque, theta by T is nothing but omega, angular speed. Velocity is linear speed, this is angular speed. So total formulas if you want to collect about the power, so one W by T, one force into velocity. These two are in linear case. In angular case also you have work by time, no problem, but torque by omega. This W is work, this omega is angular velocity. Clear? Now let's have some physical feel about power. What is difference between power and energy? There is huge difference between power and energy. Students are confused. Let's have the physical feel about both. I'll change the page. So our new topic is power. Let's understand what is power. Suppose there are certain steps and there are two person. One person is here and one person is here. They both want to go to the steps. So this person will start in this way. Then this person will take suppose 16 hours. And this person will also go to the steps. And suppose this guy will take 50 hours. Try to understand. They both will reach to the same location. And if you calculate according to the ground level, so from the ground they both are reaching same height. So because they are reaching same height, so you can see that their displacement is same. And consider they both have same mass, displacement is same, so their work done will be same. And right now work done will be nothing but mgh. I am talking work done because of gravity, like how much gravity will do the work. See, whenever there is a work done, it is because of any force. Whenever there is work done, it is always because of any force. And sometimes we are not able to explain the force properly, so we say whenever there is a work, it is because of energy conservation. Some energy will transfer into the work. So in my example, your mg is a force which is acting downward. Earth is pulling you. So when the person is going, every time your mg is downward, but still you are shifting h height. So you are getting displacement h. So for this man also and for this man also, your work done is mgh. So work done is same. It means what? Energy involved in this both the cases are same. So I am coming to one point. Energy involved is same. Now let's talk about power. This guy is reaching early. This guy is reaching late. So this guy has less power. This guy has more power. So that's why if you will become the powerful person, by spending same energy, you can complete the work but in less time. That's why we all have to be powerful. So this is the difference between energetic person and powerful person. Energetic person means, okay, you have energy, it means you are capable of doing the work. But power means if your power is more, if your power is maximum, it means the same work you will do early. Whenever power is there, now let's understand. Suppose you have a motor. This motor has a job. Take the water from the ground and throw the water at the top of any house. Suppose this motor is showing it has power of 70 watt, and suppose another motor doing same job, taking the water from the ground and sending the water at the top, but this motor has power 200 watt. So you can clearly see, if you see the watt, what is the watt? Watt is nothing but joule per second, and you see what is watt? Joule per second. It means this motor is sending 70 joule energy per second. It means this much energy is shifting per second, or you can say water is going faster, slower as compared to the second motor. In second motor, the energy involved is 20. Guys, my concept, my logic is clear? Explanation is clear? Dhruv, clear? Very good. So this was about the power. So now let's understand. See, in one class I told you that whenever we talk about kinetic energy, we have two types of kinetic energy, one in case of linear form and one is case of rotational form. In same way, today we discussed power in linear form and rotational form. So slowly whenever properties will come, I will keep on adding, right? So in linear form, whenever you have mass, convert into moment of inertia for rotational form. Whenever you have force, convert into torque. Whenever you have displacement, convert into theta. Okay, whenever you have momentum, convert into angular momentum. Velocity, omega, like this. Mostly mass into moment of inertia, force into torque, velocity into omega. These three are mostly used. Now we will solve flow work. We will understand what is flow work. Flow work, very easy. First of all, flow work is a type of work only, but it is not the path function. Keep in mind, it is not the path function. All other types of work, they are path function. What to do? To understand this work, you should arrange a kind of flow. So let's arrange the flow. Suppose I have a container like this. So in this container, I am considering whatever is this much is my control volume. So from here, some fluid will enter. So I will say as station 1, and from here the fluid will go out. So I will say this part as station 2. And right now you can see mass can enter and mass can go out, so definitely it is our open system. Okay, so question is, how much flow work is entering at the inlet? So F flow work at section 1, W flow work at section 1 is nothing but pressure into volume at section 1. How much flow work is going out at section 2? 2. Then change in flow work, W from section 2 to W from section 1 is nothing but P2 V2 minus P1 V1. So this is the formula for flow work. It is very easy. Flow work depends only on initial and final properties. It does not depend on the path. That's why it is point function. It is easy. Now we have several other types of work, like gravitational work, that is mgh, spring work half kx square, and we have two types of spring. One is spring which elongate like this and which compress like this, and we have one type of this spring. That, do you remember the name of this spring? Can you recall the name of this spring? Anyone? No, you know, okay, actually, in toys, in childhood we used to purchase small cars, small toys. First you bring them back, and then you leave, they will go ahead, right? First you drag them back, and then you leave them, then the toys will go ahead. So you can say torsional spring, or you can say spiral spring. Okay, so mostly we call them as torsional spring in mechanical engineering. So we have several types of work, and slowly all the works will come in different chapters in the sense in different subjects. Like for example, when I'll be teaching you strength of material, that time you will be having a bar. That bar we have to load by some load, so again there will be displacement in the bar. So this kind of work done we will discuss in terms of stress and strain, because properties are, because here you don't have pressure and volume, correct? So that's why when subject changes, the sense of work changes. The properties who is producing work, those properties name will change. So when different subjects will come, I will keep on explaining about the work. Now see, have you heard about something called indicator diagram? Can you recall anything about indicator diagram? Anything, if you can guess, if you can recall anything about indicator diagram? In which semester you have heard about indicator diagram? Can you recall that? In fourth semester? Okay. So see, actually indicator diagram is nothing but it is a graph which is drawn between pressure and volume. What kind of pressure, what kind of volume, what kind of system? You will be having a closed cylinder. In that you will be having some gas. This cylinder will go up and down. Because of that, your pressure and volume will change in the system, in the cylinder. So the same thing we will draw in this part. So this will indicate the idea how this system is performing. That's all. This is indicator diagram. And we will be using a complete system. We will make a complete system so that you can feel actually what is happening in the indicator diagram. So before that, we should draw some basic diagram. See guys, how anything rotates, how this wheel rotates, and how engine helps the wheel to rotate. See, suppose you have any piston cylinder like this. Here I am using any piston, and with this I am using piston rod, and to support the rod, here I am keeping some base. It will support the rod. Rod is little bit longer, and then suppose here I am attaching this kind of system, and I'm attaching this thing. So you can see this entire crankshaft I am creating here. So I'll be having any device here. This device will read the pressure. So I will call this device as pressure transducer. Actually, anything which reads any property, that is known as transducer. Transducer is a device which reads your property. So if I am saying this as pressure transducer, it means what? This device will read the value of pressure. Okay. So whatever pressure will be developed in the chamber, that pressure will be done by the transducer. and then this pressure transducer we will attach with any kind of device. That device will keep on recording the pressure. So I mean I will attach any kind of recorder, and here I have pressure transducer, and in this chamber inside I'll be keeping some gas, and from here inlet and exit system I will create. You know about IC engines, internal combustion engines, fuel and air will enter, and from one side exit system I will make, like one side inlet system, one side exit system I will make, right? Are you getting what I'm trying to create? This is kind of IC engine, internal combustion engine. From one side fuel will come and it will burn. When the burning will happen, this piston will move up, and whatever pressure will come that time, that pressure will be done by pressure transducer, and that will be recorded in the record line. And then when the gas will burn properly, again piston will come down and this valve will open and the exhaust will go up outside. A simple system. It is very simple system. And when the piston will be moving in this direction, we will connect a rod, and then this rod and this rod. When this will go in this direction, this will go in this direction, and this will rotate like this. So indicator diagram is showing you a continuous variation of pressure and volume, because continuously this piston is going up and down, up and down, up and down. Continuous variation. So because you have continuously pressure change, so we will talk about mean effective pressure. It is kind of average pressure, because every time pressure is not constant. So anyway, from this indicator diagram you have few things to understand: how the pressure diagram will look like and how the direction will change. So indicator diagram looks like this. Whenever you will see, it looks like this. Like this. So in this direction I am considering axial direction of rotating cylinder, and in this direction we will consider rotation is happening, so volume is increasing, decreasing. You know, when you have this kind of wheel, when it rotates from here to here, we say one stroke completed, and then when again it comes from here to here, we can say second stroke completed. So why do we use this? Whenever you create any engine, for that engine you should know its diagram. Which diagram we are talking? You should not forget the name, indicator diagram. What is the use of indicator diagram? It shows the variation of pressure of the gases with volume of what? Of closed cylinder. Whenever piston will change the position, pressure and volume both will change, and that diagram we will represent here. So in this we have two types of you may be knowing we have two types of engine. One is 2-stroke, one is 4-stroke engine. So when I will be teaching you engine properly, that time I will teach you this part in detail. Right now it is just kind of introduction. So we have to find out power. Power is nothing but your mean effective pressure into length into area, and then number of cycles per minute, and then multiply with K and divide by 60, because this N will be in RPM. This formula gives you power. So this direct formula you have to remember. When the engine part will come completely, I will explain in detail. Currently my point is to give you idea about the power. And this NC you can see here, this NC will be either N or this NC will be N by 2. In case of 2-stroke engine we use N is equal to N, NC is equal to N. And in case of 4-stroke engine we use N by 2. These things I will explain physically when I will start IC engine. Currently we are not discussing IC engine. So now according to heat and work, some basic formulas you have to use. So in heat and work chapter, what you have to use? Mostly you have to solve some heat numericals, which will be based on MCP or MCV delta T. So examples are given in your PDF. Those examples you have to solve, and after that you have to use some formulas for work done. In case of work done, I have given some basic formulas, PdV, based on PdV. Some mechanical concept will be there. So you will finish the examples, and you have to solve some examples which is based on power, and it can be linear power, it can be rotational power, and there will be some examples which is based on indicated power. So just now I gave you the formula of indicated power. That formula you will use directly and you will find out indicated power. That's all. Now we will change our topic. See, still I have not started IC engine. Don't be confused. I have not started IC engine. That is our separate subject. In thermodynamics, because thermodynamics is nothing but a basic science. Whenever we are learning thermodynamics, we should know where to use this. So one small use you saw here. Now we will start thermodynamics. There is law. We have to start zeroth law, first law, second law. So first we will target zeroth law.